we have all this stage set. Trump is elected, and I think this is important. This will conclude our piece on this section here. So let me share, and this is what Trump. The reports coming out now about Trump and Iran and Middle East. Okay, so am I sharing? Yeah. Okay. Trump expected. This is from Axios. Okay, 22 hours ago. Not even a day. Trump expected to ask Middle East envoy Witkoff to handle Iran diplomacy. Okay? So here's Trump comes in. This is by Barack Ravid. Witkoff with Trump at the White House. President Trump is expected to give his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, responsibility over Iran diplomacy. Okay? This is important. According to 2 U.S. officials and 2 other sources with knowledge of the issue. Why it matters. Trump's intention to give the Iran file to Witkoff, the close confidant he tasked with pushing for a historic peace deal in the Middle East, signals that the president wants to try and get a new nuclear deal with Iran before considering other options like military strikes. Witkoff already helped secure a diplomatic win for Trump when he was involved in the final push for the Gaza hostage and ceasefire deal. Israeli and Qatari officials said Witkoff's involvement was critical for concluding the deal. We have to remember something. Biden couldn't get the hostages released. Trump's elected and then says they better release them. Right? I mean, I don't know exactly what he said, right? But he basically said, better release them or else. He sends Witkoff to get involved. And what couldn't happen in a year happened in a few weeks. Update. Trump was asked during an Oval Office event whether he would pick Witkoff for the role and whether he asked Witkoff to speak directly to the Iranians. He said no, seemingly to the latter question about direct talk. So no, that Witkoff would speak directly to the Iranians, while adding that Witkoff was certainly someone I would use and strongly praised his work on Gaza. Trump also said he hopes a deal can be reached with Iran on its nuclear program. When asked if he would support an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, he said, quote, hopefully that could be worked out without having to worry about it. It would be nice. It would really be nice if that could be worked out without having to go that further step. Of course, we know. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants strikes. But he's certainly not taking that off the table. And he'll move fast. Look how fast Trump's moving there. He knows. He sees the UN reports. Obviously, he sees everything. Okay? We just get an overview. We just get a report. He's got the classified reports every day. State of the play. The sources told Axios Trump hadn't made an official decision yet, but was heading toward picking Witkoff. The Financial Times first reported about Witkoff's expanding portfolio. What they're saying. In an interview with Fox News 2 weeks ago, Witkoff said Trump wants to try and get a deal with Iran. So this is what Witkoff said on Fox News 2 weeks ago. Quote, the president will not allow a bomb to be gotten by the Iranians. There it is. The president will not allow a bomb to be gotten by the Iranians. Do you believe him? I do. That's what happens when someone acts like Trump. You actually believe him. He says something, you're thinking, he says it, he's not going to allow him. So if Iran doesn't talk and he's not removing the military option, well, we'll have to see how it plays out. Not going to happen. We're not going to that place. Hopefully we can dissolve it. We can solve it diplomatically, he also said. And the president is all about solving it diplomatically if that's possible. And if people are going to adhere to their agreements, but if not, then the alternative is not necessarily a good one, Witkoff said. So there it is. This is Witkoff 2 weeks ago. The president will not allow a bomb to be gotten by the Iranians, period. Not going to happen, period. We're not going to that place. Hopefully, we can solve it diplomatically, period. Hopefully. And the president is all about solving it diplomatically, if that's possible. And if people are going to adhere to their agreements, that's the key. You just can't make agreements like Obama and then just let them do whatever they want. They're not agreements. Then they're appeasements. Then they're just political statements to get reelected. And it just gives Iran time, which is what they need. They need time in order to develop the nuclear weapon. But if not, in other words, if they can't resolve it diplomatically and or they the Iranians don't adhere to their agreement, then the alternative is not necessarily a good one. That's some way to say it. All right. Let's keep going with this. State of play. Senior diplomats from France, Germany, the UK, and the EU met with their Iranian counterparts in Geneva 10 days ago and discussed the Iran nuclear program. European diplomats told Axios the Iranians made clear in the talks that they want to resume negotiations on a new nuclear deal that will be different from the 2015 agreement from which Trump withdrew in 2018. The Iranians asked the Europeans to convey this message to Washington and stressed they are waiting for a U.S. plan or proposal, a European diplomat told Axios. The diplomat said that the European response was that it's up to Iran to put a proposal on the table that will include more concessions on the nuclear issues. All right, so they're saying that the Iranians spoke to European diplomats, saying that they want to talk about a new deal. Iranians asked Europeans to convey this message, and they're waiting for a U.S. plan. And the diplomat said the European response was that it's up to Iran to put a proposal. But this is typical Iranian stuff. Of course, they're afraid of Trump. And the first thing they're going to do is say, let's talk, which buys them time. We're waiting for your plan. European diplomats saying you should come up with a plan and present it to the U.S. And this is all about buying time. But Trump is, we can rest assured, Trump is not going to play games with them, and he's not going to wait around. And they'll get the work. And we pray that this is resolved. And at the same time, Ukraine war comes to an end. New improved relationships with Russia are established, and and all at the same time, the dealings with Xi and Trump, President Xi of China and Trump, get to work on the tariff situation. So that's how he's got a three-pronged approach here. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is, before I move on to another story, a different type. So we went through this whole bird's eye view, eagle view of what's going on. And I think we got some really good information. I hope I feel better about it in terms of my knowledge and understanding of what's going on today, where we've been, where we are, all the way from George Washington to today, and our Israeli brothers and sisters, our Jewish brothers and sisters, and of course, all our brothers and sisters living in China and Iran and Russia and all around the world. So I end this story with the beginning, which is we're all children of God and we want peace. The purpose is peace. Peace through strength and reality. Okay? But when we always must remind us that the religious liberty is vital, that everybody is a child of God, and that we have to separate bad regimes and governments and dictators and totalitarian regimes from the people that suffer underneath them. As that woman who wrote that strong piece reminds us. She comes over and she lives in America, and now she's writing about the situation.